Stumbling across ex-rental videotapes in the wild now is not something that happens on a regular basis, but we found some. Welcome back to GROT TV. Now, finding VHS tapes out in the wild is not something that happens on a regular basis now. You know what I mean? If you go into charity shops, if you go into car boot sales, if you go into any of that kind of stuff, second-hand stores, it's not something that generally happens. And if you do, you tend to find sort of small box sell-through tapes. And 9 times out of 10, those small box sell-through tapes will just be of generic crap that people like us that are looking for cult oddities are just not bothered about. So when you do come across some videotapes in the wild and they turn out to be ex-rental tapes, so here in the UK, that's the big box stuff, you have a look at it. And not only do you have a look at it, you also video it so other people can have a look at it. So I found quite a number of tapes today. Now, not everything that was on display would have been my cup of tea, but there would have been something here for everyone. Now, I picked a couple of titles out in here that were standouts for me. And these were priced up at a really, really reasonable price. These were priced to sell, which is always great because you guys know out there when it comes to ex-rental videotapes, nostalgia tax is put on this stuff like you wouldn't believe. You've only got to look on eBay to find out. Our good friend Andrew Hornt will know more than most when it comes to this stuff. What kind of numbers are being put on some tapes at the moment, and it all comes down to nostalgia taxing. You know what I mean? A lot of this stuff isn't worth a bean, but people think because it's a collector's market they can throw a price tag of £30-40 on there and people fall over themselves to buy it. That's not the case. People like myself, people like Andrew, people who else in the VHS collecting community, you don't want to be paying through the nose for stuff. You know what I mean? You want stuff because you want it in your collection, but you're not going to pay a king's ransom for it, or, you know what I mean, give one of your kidneys up just to want a copy of Roto. But it was nice to see some ex-rental tapes out in the wild, priced nicely, presented nicely, that were out there for people to sort of browse through. So check it out, see what I found.